How you going, bro?
Not bad, man. Just finished one of the workouts. It's an
Nice.
absolute nightmare, mate. Absolute nightmare.
What, the
It's
workouts or
the step ups and the burpees, man.
really?
Yeah,
In what way?
it's a burner. It's good nightmare, but yeah.
Yeah. I don't think any of it. I don't know. I was thinking about this today, like during my workout. Right, I just did a 40-minute ski, just easy. Like nobody really wants to do any of it, right? Like
Yeah, exactly.
everyone would rather have the easier option. Like given the choice, if someone said, "Would you rather go on a 10K run or lie on a bed?" You would pick bed all day long, right?
Yeah.
Or I don't know, like going around on a motorized scooter, you would choose the scooter all day long. I guess it's just the offset of priorities. I don't know if we're going to get joined by anyone else here. I know Beck said she was coming. Carl said she could. He couldn't.
A couple of people said they were joining, right?
Sorry.
A couple of people said they were joining, I think.
Yeah. So I'll leave it a couple of minutes and see. If not, then be a private Q&A, you and me.
Cool.
I missed a call from Mark today, actually.
Really? I haven't spoken to him in ages, man.
Huh?
I haven't spoken to him in ages.
Yeah, he's very hit and miss sometimes with bits. I mean, we used to be really, really close, and I haven't spoken to him for like properly for ages, which is kind of a bit frustrating. But it's like I said to you on the phone originally. Like most of my school friends from where I live, I don't speak to any of them anymore. Like, you know, when you have this idea in your head of like who you'll stay connected with.
Yeah.
And somehow it just becomes this eclectic group of almost misfits. They don't fit together in any way. They're just like random people that you just kind of keep along the way. I don't know. But yeah, how are you finding everything anyway? Like in general with the programming and the non-negotiables, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, the one I'm struggling the most with is the steps. I mean, I have to do a lot of it over the weekend.
Yeah.
Just because during the week with work and stuff, and because it gets dark quite early, sometimes I have meetings at lunchtime, so I can't step out. Like today, for example, I did like an 8,000 session at lunchtime because it was an easy day at work. Because sometimes I'll go like 2 or 3 days not walking and then making it all up on the weekend, basically. So I think that's probably the hardest one to add on to would be probably that.
Yeah, I mean, for yourself, because of where you're at, and I guess the smaller amount that you need to lose, I think that's less of a priority because you are doing the workouts as well. It's just a nice head clearer if you need to, but if you're doing it at the weekend, I mean, I certainly wouldn't advocate necessarily like getting 35,000 steps in a day over the weekend. Like that's
no, but it doesn't get up to that. It's like maybe I'll do like on Saturday and Sunday I'll do like 14,000 just to make up for it. It's not like that big of a hit kind of thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And it doesn't feel hard to do either. It's not like I'm struggling to get them. A weekend we'll go out for a walk or something, and it just just make up for it basically.
Yeah, that's good. I mean, I think as well with a lot of things is if you have like somewhere to go, especially in London, it's easier to make those steps up because you're just going to a destination, right? And then potentially just coming back. Whereas like where I live, we have to physically go out and it's not to anything. You just have to go out for a walk, which I guess is harder to get your head around in some respects because you're like, shit, this is going to take me an hour and a half, 2 hours to complete this entire thing. Whereas, yeah, like I say, in London, you just go out for the day, right? You just go and see a few things. But I think for you, especially when you're doing all the workouts and the conditioning and you've taken to that. So I wouldn't necessarily, if you do miss them a few times, every piece of exercise is great, but I always say like you need somewhere to go, right? So things will plateau and things will steady as your goals move. So yeah, you need to be able to either produce more exercise or cut your calories. We're trying to make sure that it's that like fine line, really.
I'm not struggling that much with the calories either, to be honest. It's the protein is the hardest one for me to hit. that's by far the hardest one. So trying to, like, I have some eggs for breakfast, egg whites for breakfast, and then sometimes I have a shake, sometimes I won't, kind of thing. But
fine.
I'm getting there.
Yeah. I think actually the topic that I wanted to mention today was like momentum, and eventually like you will build that, like with the resetting of the defaults and everything that we sort of set out, right, with the non-negotiables and even the steps we were just talking about, and the exercise. You, like I say, you've done really well with the exercise, like following it through. You have in that mind with True Coach, because I've got it with my coach with, I don't want to miss a workout. I don't want to send it off.
You feel guilty, right, when you do miss it.
Yeah, for sure, exactly. And I think it's just building that momentum all the time, so that, and as I've said, and everyone that will watch this, everybody that I work with, eventually there will become a point where I don't want to work with you, even though we become quite close over the time that we work together. The whole premise and the whole purpose of this is to make it self-sustained, for you to kind of like understand and build on things like a small snowball, or if we to change the analogy, like small compound investments. Like if you were investing in money, you want to make sure that as things are going, it goes quite slowly, and towards the end it will then just peak, and it's very easy for it to just fall back off on the other side without realigning those goals and realigning where you want to be. So for somebody like yourself, for example, you might get to a point where you go, right, okay, I'm happy with my body composition, I'm happy with how I look, everything else seems to be like flowing really well, and naturally it will just produce this like momentum. I think a lot of the times we get a bit clouded with it in the winter because it's not great outside. I know, talking to you personally about like Spain and all that kind of stuff, it's just easier to carry that momentum through. And I think if you keep working towards the fact that why you're doing something, like to change you for the better, when we get to the summer, the momentum is then easy. There will become a point though when the winter comes and you'll fall back down the other side again, and it is very easy to fall back into like the old self, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and to be honest, like at the moment, like February has been really good. I mean, since we started, but I think a massive thing has been that we've been in lockdown. You know, once the pubs open and you start getting invitations to go and drink stuff, that's when it's going to be a bit harder to keep strictly to the calories and the macros, etc., kind of thing. So
again, that's
going to be a challenge.
It's I mean, I wrote a note down here that I wanted to just, like I said, just mentioned it a moment ago, like resetting your default, right? And it's not to ever say that you cannot have a drink ever again. It's just like alternatives. So I don't know, instead of going out for a load of beers, you end up having vodka lemon sodas instead. So you're kind of being social, or I mean, I've done it a couple of times. I end up just ordering water at the bar, and it looks like a vodka lemon soda, and I'm not actually doing anything, you know. I was actually explaining to somebody the other day, well, that should loads, that if you gave two people a glass of vodka and a glass of water and told them that it was both vodka, they would probably believe you and become drunk. So as long as, because there is that thing, it's like peer pressure. They are trying to derail you because they don't want you to be better than them, all that kind of stuff. Oh, you must drink. Well, why? I know, again, a few times I've had to actually physically get my car key out of my pocket and go, no, like literally I'm driving. I can't have any more. So that reset of the default and remembering why you're doing the thing you're doing will hopefully help to curb some of those potentially older self moments where you almost self-sabotage, right? You just think, once you've started down the rabbit warren of drinking, for example, there's a kebab after, there's the knock-on effect of not only that, you're hungover potentially, and then you don't train, you don't walk, you eat like shit because you feel like shit. You've written off, so essentially you've written off a day and a half of everything you're doing, which could almost put you 2 weeks back of like the calorie deficit that we're trying to put you in, which is just below the line of the sweet spot. of your maintenance, because you want to eat as much as possible, right? Like who doesn't? There's no point. I mean, anyone can lose weight on 1,000 calories, 800 calories. You'd be miserable. But so it's just, I mean, that will be the key moment. Sarah's not in. No one's in the waiting room. But Sarah, who you will have seen in the group, she was talking about it. I was saying to her that when the summer comes around, it's like I just said to you a minute ago, it's way easier then, because you've built that momentum up and you've built the good habits through the winter and the shittiest time of year, to enable you to then just like kick on, and you'll almost find another gear. It will be like, I've done all this stuff before, and like I say, that investment at the end, you'll just find suddenly peak. And it's just important that when you get to like closer to where you need to be, to realign and adjust. I mean, you're going to have down days. Down days can also be going out for drinks with friends, or like your routine gets shot. And I think it's just, if you can acknowledge those moments and understand that's going to happen. I guess just like in anything, you're going to have days that are just not going to be as good as others. Once you've got that baseline, you know that the workout's in your back pocket, just finish that. Your steps are at the weekend, they're in, your food's in, your egg whites are for breakfast, and you kind of just build this thing out for yourself that becomes just what Nev does, or what anybody does, right? I remember I used to say, my parents once said to my nanny and pops, oh, he won't eat that because he weighs all his food. And I was kind of like the grandson that weighed everything. The same thing when I used to go to my friends for a barbecue. I'd take my food blender with me, right? Because I know that's an extreme.
That is an extreme.
Like, I didn't want to be too derailed because I was focused on where I wanted to be, and I didn't want to eat like a twat, or I didn't want to get forced down into like bad food and all this other stuff. I'd take Coronas with me. So instead of having loads of cans of Fosters, it would just be a nice fresh Corona and lime. I'd just have a couple, and that would be it. And it would be enough for me. So like I say, it's just kind of just etching out that, like always remembering why you're doing something, why you're going and doing what you're doing. I think that can help. Have you got any questions, like burning questions?
Yeah, I mean, on the same subject, like for example, if you do have a bad day, like you said, for example, I mean, you mentioned something about it puts you back, you said 2 weeks in terms of the calorie deficit. How does that exactly work? Like, I'm doing it, but I don't quite understand how that calorie deficit works in terms. So if you keep, like, I'm doing 1,600 now, weekly, right? So if one day I do 2,000, for example, how does that affect then the next day? Is it just once the day finishes, it's a reset, or does that carry on somehow?
No. So what I would just say is, for example, for you, I'll just grab my phone. If you were on 1,600 calories and then you times that by 7, it's 11,200 for the week. And you would just use them for the net, like the net week. So for example, say you had 3 days at 2,000 calories, that's 6,000 calories. You're left with 5,200 for 4 days, which means you'd have 1,300 left for those days. And that's absolutely fine. Like, it will affect your weight on the other days because of food volume and depending what you eat. What I mean with like setting you back potentially 2 weeks is, so for example, say you train and on average you burn like, I don't know, 400 or 500 calories with your steps and you're working out. Plus you've had the kebab on the night out, plus the alcohol. Plus eating like shit the next day because you feel awful and you just want loads of stuff to make yourself feel better. You could end up going 2,000 to 4,000 calories over your daily amount. Therefore, say 1,800 was your maintenance. You've got a 200 window. 4,000 divided by 200 is like 5 days worth of calories. And that's overeating. So that's what I mean when I say it can put you back that far. Like, if the wheels come off, and the wheels come off in a major way, with my process of getting you to eat as much as possible while still kind of trimming bits off week to week, if that happens, it can set you back, because there's too many calories going in effectively. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Not to say like it's all doom and gloom and you should never have
no, of course, yeah, I get that. Yeah,
cheats.
I mean, that's why I think the brushing your teeth analogy you made ages ago when we were talking, I think that's quite a good one, because if you forget to brush your teeth, you just go back the next day and you just brush them again. You don't kind of like, you don't just go like, you don't say, I will never brush my teeth again.
Oh no, don't worry about it. No, I don't want any teeth.
Yeah, exactly.
Just, my golden rule that I try and, it's not always possible, and I don't always do it myself, but try not to miss twice. So like if I've missed journaling one night, I will make sure that I do it the next night, if not do it in the morning, to kind of like make up for it. Same thing for working out, same thing for like a bad meal. But like I say, this whole process is supposed to enable you to be able to eat whatever you want, whenever you want, and not restrict you too much that you would feel like you need. I think James mentioned it on one of my lives last week about like a cheat day or cheat meals. And as much as they are okay, it's just like a normal day of eating, right? But you still, if your goal is weight loss, body composition, energy, then you need to just understand that eating whatever you want might not be congruent with the goal that you need. So it's just kind of like that offset all the time. That's effectively, hopefully that's like answered your question.
Yeah, definitely.
But the brushing and teeth analogy I use quite a lot. Just, I don't know where I heard it, but it just seemed to make sense. And I was explaining to somebody over the weekend as well, where I think with our health and fitness, it's very easy to forget like the impact we're having on ourselves. But from a young age, we're all taught, if you don't brush your teeth will fall out. That's literally what our parents said to us, right? That was like, you'll lose your teeth if you don't brush your teeth tonight. And you're like, oh my God, okay, right, do it. And you then do it twice a day for, I don't even know how many years, before you just figure out how it's done. Like, you just do it, right? You kind of have that the morning and evening routine of just like going into the bathroom. Somehow you just end up going to the bathroom, you end up brushing your teeth, you wash your face. It just happens. And that's effectively my goal with this whole process, is to make everybody like that. Like, it just happens naturally, without having to really think about it. Like the reset of the default, just becomes what Nev does, or what any of the guys hopefully rewatching this do. Like what I said a minute ago about me and the smoothie machine. Just what Johnny does. Johnny will bring his smoothie machine, and more often than not, I'd be asked to make the boys them. They'll ask you. Most people will then end up asking you, when you've got a really decent result, oh, so how are you in such good shape? How have you got to this? So hopefully that was valuable enough.
Definitely, man.
As always, if you've got any other like really burning questions, don't feel like you need to hold them to these occasions. Just flick me a message, and anybody watching this back, likewise. The sleep one on Saturday, I'm actually really excited about. Supercharged sleep, that should be really good. And I might even do like a +1. So if you know anybody that would benefit from it or want to come along, just let them know. I can then, if you send me their email address, I'll send them the link, and hopefully we can get a good crowd in.
Cool, that's good.
Sweet, bro. Anything else for me before I disappear and have some dinner?
No, good, man. All good.
Awesome. All right, keep smashing it. I'll see you on Saturday, but speak to you in the week.
Perfect, man. Thank you.
See you later.
See you later.